Hello, my crafty friends. Today, I'm going to finally spin this roving that Dana Yates was so sweet to buy and send to me. Well, I'm not sure if she bought it. I'm assuming she did, but she got it from, I think, someone she knows who had a sheep processed, and they were selling its wool as roving. And so I haven't gotten this out to spin it yet. I'll be honest with you, I'm a little afraid of it. And I'll tell you why. And it's not based on anything that has to do with this bundle of roving. It is some other roving that I got that was in this same form. And it was a little harder to spin than some others. But this, so what, I'll let you know how this is while we're spinning it. But it just says Canadian wool, so I don't know what kind of sheep it is. But it was milled in Oakwood, Ontario, and it's 8 ounces of roving. It says ideal for spinning or felting. Sheepishly me, I like that. That's really cute. And this is how it came, and this is called a bump. When you buy roving in this form, it's called a bump. And one really nice thing about the roving in this form is that it's really like a sliver instead of see, here's I think when I first got this, I did this by hand just to see what it would look like, instead of with any kind of spinning equipment. I may be wrong. Actually, she may have done that. I don't know. I don't know if I did that or not. I don't remember, pulling it out to look at it this much. But one thing about this, and you can see it, there's a lot of vegetable matter, little bits and pieces of vegetable matter in here. It is clean. It just has bits of grass and leaves and stuff, and sheep live in the grass and the weeds and the stuff, so their wool is going to have that stuff in it. And I don't know if you watched the video that I did where I was making the bats, even out of those tops that were commercially processed, way more processed than this is. This is minimal compared to what they do in the big factories. This was processed in a probably a smaller mill. I might be wrong about that, but usually the really big ones that do all the top and stuff, they usually don't want to take your 5 sheep or your 20 sheep or whatever and work with your fleece. I could be wrong. This was in Canada, so they might be nicer. I don't know. I just know the big mills here, the really big ones, they have all they can do. They don't want to mess with small individual people. There are a lot of small mills, though. There aren't a lot. There are quite a few. And they're willing to, to take your fleece if you can get it to them and process it into something. They can process it to this, or they can take it on from this form and make it into yarn for you if you don't want to spin it, if you just want the yarn already, But this is what spinners like. We like to have something we can actually do the work on. Anyway, even in that very, very prepared fiber where they have combed it, they've sent it through several machines and all that, you find some vegetable matter. And every step of the processing, you find some more. And when you're spinning, you can even find more even after you think you've taken, a bunch of it out. So that all of that vegetable matter mixed in here does make this a little bit more work to spin than the commercially processed stuff that you get, the topper roving that you buy from, the big wool stores and stuff. However, sometimes they process it to the point where it doesn't have any of its sheepiness left. The fluff and the elasticity and all of that stuff are pretty much gone. by the time they get it to that form. Now, a lot of times it'll come back, but this is closer to having a fleece and processing it yourself than the well, let me just get you an example, and you can see just by looking at it. Okay, this is something else I'm in the middle of spinning, and you can see they put all kinds of stuff in it, but it looks very different. Now this is top and this is roving, and the difference is that top is everything's lined up going this direction, and with roving it isn't. It's roving is typically made to do a woolen spin, and so the fibers are kind of crossed over. Now this this actually is maybe less that way than some, but anyway, we're going to spin some of it. And I'm sorry, Dana, that it took me so long to get around to spinning this, but like I said, I was a little afraid of it. and I've just been having a down year, so year and a half, or since she gave this to me, I haven't been doing as much spinning, but I'm trying to get back into it. Now this is my electric eel wheel 6, and I ordered it. Well, actually, I got this through a Kickstarter by Dreaming Robots, and I've done 4 of their Kickstarters. I did this one, and then I did the Kickstarter for the yarn counter, and then I did the Kickstarter for the Nano 2, which is a smaller version of this, and I'll do a video comparing this to the Nano 2 also, but that's a different video. And then I also got I'm in the Kickstarter for the cone winder, and one thing I can say about Dreaming Robots, Maurice, who is the owner, he is a very hands-on guy, and he is looking hard to try to make his products as inexpensive but still good quality as he can. And that's one of the amazing things that I like about it. Plus, his customer service is amazing. If something's wrong and he can't help you fix it, he'll send you another part. If you didn't get something, he sends it right out, so the customer service is great. Dreaming Robots, or I think it's Electric Eel Wheel, has a Facebook group as well, and people give each other hints, and there's lots of discussion about his wheels and his products on that Facebook group. And if you buy one of these products, that you need to get in the Facebook group, because you'll get a lot of good information there. And I'm not an affiliate or anything like that. I just love the product. This was the first thing I got from him, and I loved it so much I wanted to be in on those other Kickstarters, because for one thing, with the Kickstarter you get either more accessories or you get a cheaper price or something like that. And that's one good reason to do the Kickstarter. Plus, Maurice has never failed to deliver on one of his Kickstarters. So it might have, because of production issues and 2020 and all that stuff, things might have taken longer to get to you, but they all have always gotten done. And that's pretty impressive, I think, in and of itself. So I have no hesitation to recommend them. Anyway, that's what I'm going to use to spin this right now. Is this is called the Electric Eel Wheel 6, or 6.0 if you want to be precise. And I really love it. Now you'll see that some of this stuff will come out as I'm spinning, and I'm just taking a little bit of it and putting it through my loop in my leader, and that's how I'm gonna start spinning. Now I have it set up for Z twist, which is clockwise, and I just do this as a matter of course. I always spin my singles clockwise and ply them counterclockwise. You can do it the opposite way if you want to. And you might have a reason to want to do it one way or the other. This is just the way I started doing it. And I'm a left-handed crocheter, and most people, it's addictive pulling that stuff out. um, Most people say that hand spun yarn that was spun clockwise and then plied counterclockwise, sometimes they have trouble with their hook going through the ply. And that has to be something to do with the way you throw when you're right-handed, because I'm left-handed and I haven't had any trouble with that. And I've had other left-handed people say they haven't had any trouble with the traditional, way of doing things. And spinning clockwise and plying counterclockwise is traditional in most traditions. Now, I'm sure there are some places where it's not traditional, but anyway, it's the most common. Let's put it that way. Anyway, let's just spin. Now, when I'm spinning, I don't always spin out here like this. I mean, I spin in my recliner, and I have a desk, kind of lap desk thing. And so when I'm spinning on that, this is further away from me than it is right now. In fact, it's like probably this far. If I've got my hand over here, this is where I'm usually working. And the thing that does is it gives it all this time to gather twist. And so you have to keep in mind the distance from your orifice when you change something. And I think I am going to leave it back here a little bit. Well, I want you to be able to see it because it's kind of fun to watch. But, okay. Anyway, we'll put it up there as high as we can. This is the style I'm spinning now is a worsted style spinning method, but because of the preparation of the roving preparation is a woolen preparation, and so this will make a semi-worsted yarn or a semi-woolen yarn. You can call it either way, I think. And a woolen preparation is whoops, I've got it going too fast to do this, but you're not smoothing it down in between. You're just pulling your hand out, and then you're letting the twist go in, so it makes a lot fluffier yarn. Let me do a little bit more, and then I'll do a sample so you can see. This is faster. I overspun it a little bit because I was you can't roll it when you got it. You roll it a little bit when you're making your sample, because when you're adding twist into it when you ply, and it doesn't have that added twist, right now. See those pieces that I left in there while I was spinning? They can come out now, and you can also take them out. Some of it you'll find when you're actually crocheting or knitting, and you go, oh, good grief, there's another piece. That's just kind of the way it is. Anyway, there's the yarn, and it's fluffy. Okay, now then I'm going to go back to spinning it worsted, and then I will show you what that looks like. This is very, very good feeling fiber. It has a little bit of lanolin left in it, and so it makes your hands feel soft. And sometimes when they do that, it gets sticky, and that is not fun to spin. And that's what happened with the other one I had that was like this. It was very hard to spin because the lanolin left in it made it sticky. This one is not. This one is spinning really nice. I'm just trying to eliminate the vegetable matter that makes it into the yarn. So I'm going to take out the bigger stuff that I see. And even after doing this, there will still be some. If you don't like fiddly things, then you'll probably want to buy your, commercially prepared rather than small mill prepared wool, because there's less of it to deal with. But there are advantages both ways. The less vegetable matter is the advantage of the commercially prepared stuff. The more life in your wool, and a little bit of lanolin and all of those things are, it just feels more alive when you're actually spinning with it even. All of those things are advantages to this kind. So I like to spin everything. I like to spin it fleece. I like to spin, more prepared fibers and less prepared fibers. So I should have kept that sample so we could compare them. But I was spinning, here's this one. It still blooms a little, and that's because of the fiber, the kind of fiber it is. But it's definitely not as puffy a yarn as the other one was. Okay, well, let's do that again. And I'm going to take this piece off, and then we'll do another one, woolen spun. And we'll compare them then. See, it's all doable. See, just go back and do it. Okay, open this up a little bit more. Oh, I need to move my I needed to move this because my wool was beginning to slide down, and it's looser if it does that. You don't want it to do that. So I had to move that a little bit. Oh, this is really fun to spin. It's really fun to spin woolen. Okay. I tie and knotted it so it doesn't the plying doesn't come undone. Okay, let me find a clip. Okay. Okay, this is woolen, and this is worsted spun. Same fiber, same spinner, same amount of drafting basically, but this feels not as, it doesn't feel as soft as this, because it's not, because it has the air smoothed out of it, and this we left the air in there. So when you get a worsted weight yarn at the store, it's usually two things. Number one, it usually is spun like this, where it's it's not fluffy. But it's also how the size of the yarn, and it doesn't always have anything to do with how many plies are in that yarn, but more about the size it is once it's plied together. Like this is pretty much a fingering weight yarn. This one looks more like a sport weight. And but if you stretch it out, you know, stretch them both out, they're pretty much the same. See that? Stretched out, they're the same size. This one just has more air in it, so it looks fatter. This will make a warmer, lighter weight sweater. If you crochet or knit your sweater with woolen yarn, you don't, there's less, the yarn itself weighs less. Like if I did this whole 8 ounces, I don't know, let's see if these are the, okay, let's do it this way. Okay, these are almost the same length, not exactly, but this one, I don't know if you can even see that. This one stretches a little bit, but this one stretches even more. It's much more obvious when you're stretching it. And that's because this wasn't processed to death. The crimp is still there. And that's one of the blessings of this kind of fiber, is that they haven't processed it to the point where you don't have any crimp left. Now, there are things you can do, and I will show those sometime. One of them is you can steam your commercial top, and the steam will reactivate the crimp. And then spinning with it's a little bit more like spinning with this. Anyway, this is a nice soft, it's not probably going to be next to skin soft for most people, so you wouldn't probably want to wear you know, a turtleneck sweater, but a cardigan would be great out of it, because you wear that over something else, you know. And it is a funner spin when you don't have to stop and pick this stuff out, you know. But you can always sit in front of the TV and pick out a bunch of it. Plus, that lets this fluff up a little bit from being compacted here, and it makes it easier to spin too. And what I'm probably gonna, that's probably what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take this bump and I'm gonna set it in front of me, and I'm gonna have a bowl or a basket or something over here, and then I'm just gonna go through and pick out the little bits of vegetable matter that I see while I'm watching a video or something, and that will make it a faster spin, because I'm not stopping to remove stuff. But if I was all about the fastest spin available, I mean, all about doing things fast, I wouldn't be spinning my own yarn. I would just go to the store and buy yarn. But for me, the process is the fun, and I love the whole process. I like taking a dirty fleece and washing it, and then carding it or dyeing. Sometimes I dye it first, and then I card it, and then I spin it. If I'm going to dye it before it's yarn, I usually dye it as fleece, because once I've prepared it into a bat or a roving or something like that, it will felt that much easier when you dye it. And so I do buy commercial tops, and I dye those as well, and that's a lot of fun too, and maybe I can do a video sometime on that. But okay, see, this is, like I said, it's addictive. You get but if you look at these two samples, okay, the woolen one here, I didn't take out anything before I spun it, and it fell out as I was spinning it. In the worsted one, I took out some stuff, and I still picked stuff out because it's tighter in there. It holds on to the little pieces tighter. When you spin it woolen, it's not holding on to them as tight, so when you mess with it, they come out. So I wouldn't have to do this if I'm going to spin it woolen, and I probably will spin it woolen because I like the way it feels spun woolen. And I may or may not dye it once it's yarn. I don't know yet. But 8 ounces is a lot. A lot of skeins that you find in the store are 4 ounces, or I mean, they do make some big skeins that are maybe 8 ounces, but that would be a really big skein of yarn. Because when you make it into yarn, you're changing it a little bit. Okay, let's put that aside, and let's just go ahead and spin for a little while, and then I'll let you go. But if you're here to watch me spin, I haven't been doing a ton of spinning because I've been doing too much talking. But when I'm watching people do things I don't do, I like them to tell me how and why and all of that. So we're going to do it. We're going to do it woolen because I think that's what I want. And we might, whoa, don't get too over eager. And this is called, I think some people call it American woolen. I just saw that, American long draw to do this. A lot of people who do long draw, and that's what they call it when you go out here and you're not smoothing it down. They don't do this, but that just allows me a little more control over the size of my yarn. See, if I get a puff like that, I can just keep going. This is definitely faster than spinning it woolen worsted. Sorry. So there you go. Pull out a little bit more so I can attach it down here. I hope you enjoyed this, and I am enjoying working with it, Dana. Sorry I got scared of it because of another one that I had, and I didn't do anything with it till now. But I am very grateful, and I'm going to enjoy spinning it. I can tell just by feeling of it that it's gonna be nice to spin. And God bless you all, and have a great day.